So since it is 7 o'clock, we do have a quorum. We will open the Monday, February 28th, 2022 meeting of the Finance Committee. I think all of you know that Amy is not able to attend tonight, so as Vice Chair, she asked me to. So I'll just do a quick roll call of who is here. Paula?
Here.
Steve?
Here.
Mike Fiore will not make it tonight. He let me know. Yelena? Didn't hear you. Did you say here, Yelena? I see you.
I think she's frozen.
She looks frozen, yeah, so I'll come back.
Okay.
Oh, I think now you're back.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm here. Okay, good. You were frozen too.
We need both visual and auditory confirmation.
There you go.
Joe.
I am here.
I see you too. Bill?
Here.
Kevin Snyder. Not sure if he's able to tune in. I know he got stuck with some flight issues. Zach?
Present.
And we have a new Kevin. I don't know if he's been sworn in. Do you happen to know, Mike?
I think he was, yes.
Okay. Well, he was on the emails, so maybe he'll just tune in a couple minutes late. But that's all of us. I am here. And I wanted to welcome Kevin, but I guess we'll do that next time. And do we have a new scribe for taking our minutes, Mike?
Same person.
Oh, it is the same. Okay. All right. So how would you like to begin?
The first thing I'd like to do is have the discussion on how you want to continue your meetings. Do you want in person or Zoom?
All right. Open.
Or hybrid.
Or hybrid. Thank you, Charlene. Anyone have any thoughts or input?
Speaking for myself, I'm fine with virtual. If people are really, really bent on getting together in person, hybrid is fine, or in person is fine for me.
Madam Vice Chair.
Comfortable virtual if we have to go hybrid. Fine.
I think that was Steve, but go ahead, Paula.
Just speaking on a personal level, I feel like there's a higher percentage of meetings I can attend when we're virtual. With a husband who travels and different things that happen. I am fine with meeting in person, COVID related, but virtual is just a lot easier to be able to attend more meetings.
I agree as well. It's easier for me to do it via Zoom.
Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in?
Fine with me, meeting in person or virtual, whether unless I can participate in the meeting, whether it's in person or virtual, and hopefully in person soon.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Any other members of the committee? Yes.
If we go hybrid, does a certain number have to be in person and a certain number can be remote, or is it just meaning, what does hybrid mean, I guess?
My understanding would be with that anybody who is online or in person would count towards since this is all counting towards, if we decide to go with hybrid, then that's what I think hybrid means. But correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right. My only issue with the hybrid, why I'm not a big fan, is you have a hybrid meeting and 2 people show up, and then you're like, well, really, why did I have to show up here if everyone's just going to do Zoom? So just my personal opinion.
Great. Sure. If anybody else has any other reasons or any of that, speak up now.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Zach.
I think
I mean, for me, I think it's time for everybody to get back to normal. I would like to see in person, but if it's inconvenient for everybody, I'm fine with this as well. But I know on the capital meeting before this, it was voted to go back to in person starting next week, I believe, Mike, right?
Correct.
Yep. That's direction things are trending. Most things. Even if it's more convenient for a lot of us. Okay, any final thoughts before we move on?
So what's your consensus? Do you want to take a vote on that, or
We can.
is it?
So we don't need to take any formal or official vote since this is just about our meetings, right? So we could go around and of the three, you could give your opinion. So whether you prefer in-person, hybrid, or virtual. How's that sound? Good? Okay. Paula.
Virtual, please.
Okay. Steve.
Hybrid?
Elena.
Zoom.
Joe.
I'd go hybrid, but to Mike's comment, if we're going to do that, I would say people could try to make a concerted effort to be in person if their circumstances allow it. That might solve the issue that he brought up.
That's two answers, sir. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, thanks, Joe. Bill.
A virtual.
Zach.
I'm going to go with the same comments of Mr. Joe Parker. I kind of on that page, which is two answers.
You guys, it's really not helpful to those of us trying to help make a decision here. But did I get everybody that's here? Besides myself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's everybody. So I will vote hybrid. And that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for hybrid and 3 for virtual. Noting that 2 of the hybrids were on the fence of hybrid and in person. There's your answer, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Is it all right? Do you want to go into the financial discussion?
Sure. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is the schedule. Next Monday, we have data processing, communications, police, fire, emergency medical, emergency planning, and Board of Health.
Madam Chair?
Inspection and animal control. Yes, Zach?
Mike, is it possible to just give us an overview of the finances before we get into the schedule? What the challenges are that you see. I don't. Thank you.
I'll go through that. So the challenge is, well, we're just about through COVID, and now we have a war. So,
minor issues.
Everything keeps changing. But so just to go over some of the finances. So right now, our current balance, these are our current balances. Let me just move this up a little. So in the stabilization fund, we currently have a balance of $2,564,579. And as you know, the goal for stabilization always is to have 5% of your budget. So based on last year's budget, we should have 3.3 million in our stabilization account. The ambulance reserve is 2,314,458, and the capital fund is $699,744, and requests we've received on capital total $1,350,423. So as you know, a lot of times we'll fund a few things at the Springtown meeting, and then once we have free cash certification, we'll fund some more things in the fall. The free cash right now is $1,995,995. And then the retained earnings for water is $2,179,601, and sewer is $2,515,515, and the dog fund is $94,650, and OPEB, post-employment benefits, which covers the health insurance for our retirees, is at $841,655. And just to give you a history of the free cash, so this is just free cash over the years, starting 2002 when we had a negative $551,000, and the more recent years. So last year our free cash was $4,238,298. Just to let you know, a good bulk of that was health insurance, close to $1 million, and the bulk of that was because we had the health insurance holiday. So 1 month we didn't have to pay health insurance last year because no one could go to the doctor with COVID. So Blue Cross gave us a month of non-payment of the health insurance. So we won't have that this year. Also, another bit of that was due to the fact that the bills for excise the previous year, the last cycle was late going out. And so those payments came in after July 1st, and that was over $300,000 that we won't be able to count on this year. And I'll go through it. I'm not a good teacher, so anyone has questions, just yell out. So this just gives you a history of the stabilization. You know, we've been good the last few years trying to get caught up to where we should be. And we put $400,000 into stabilization last year, but that was due to FY20. We used at the Springtown meeting $439,500 out of our stabilization account, so we're trying to replace that. And a lot of that was due to the uncertainty of what was going to be happening with COVID. And I'll just go over the cherry sheet with you. So I don't know if you have any new members on, but the cherry sheet is what we receive from the state every year. They call it the cherry sheet because it used to come out on cherry paper, cherry colored paper. So this is the cherry sheet, and you can see the various categories. These are the revenues that we'll receive from the state. So if you look at that, you'd say, $16,933,767 this year. But what you have to look at is two items come out of that. The school choice receiving tuition, that goes directly to the school department. And they had an increase of $204,122. And the library, public libraries, down near the bottom, the $32,466, that goes directly to the libraries. And they actually had a slight decrease of $3,688. So if you look at that, and the net is $215,679 that's available for appropriation. The next thing that comes out on the cherry sheet is the expense side. These are charges from the state. So this covers our county assessments, our state assessments, transportation authorities. So the first section is the county assessment, and our county assessment is the $297,496. And then the next section covers the Bristol County mosquito control, $83,590. And then this section down below is transportation authorities, $18,042 to the MBTA and $116,340 to GATRA. So the next is tuition assessments. So school choice sending tuition, $86,357, and charter school sending tuition, $1,253,888. So our assessments actually go down by $86,910. So adding that to the increase on the other side, it's about $302,589 that's available for appropriation.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Joe.
Mike, can you tell me what the MBTA line item gets us? Where does that go to?
That goes to the MBTA to cover cost of transportation, because we're a community that abuts an MBTA, a community that has an MBTA rail station.
Okay.
So that has gone down. As you can see, GATRA went up. So if GATRA is able to provide different services, our total doesn't change. Down the transportation authorities, it just comes off the MBTA amount. So that's, if you look, last year GATRA was 110,000. This year it's 116,000. Yeah, so that just comes off the MBTA.
Okay, so that's just a charge because
Correct.
because the town has access to Mansfield and Attleboro stations, that's kind of our piece of the pie?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Zach?
Mike, on the tuition assessments,
Mhm.
on top of that, how do we pay for Southeastern Regional and Bristol Aggie?
Those are budgeted when we do the budgets.
So that's separate they don't keep them in the same line item?
No, they don't. That we pay for those directly, and these just come off our cherry sheet. Anything else on the right. So then after we have the cherry sheet and we know what the state assessments are, the next thing we work on are our local receipts. And when we look at the local receipts, we look at, past history, and then we look at, what's happening in the area right now. And so motor vehicle excise, at our capital meeting, we're talking about the difficulty of getting new vehicles. So that's why, we're not real encouraged that we'll pull in as much money under motor vehicle excise as we did in the past. And the meals tax, we've increased a little bit, figuring that people are getting more comfortable going out to restaurants, so that we'll hopefully start getting back to where we were before COVID gradually. The room tax, that's from the extended stay hotel. And we're pretty standard, 75,000, 67,000, 76. So we're looking at 75,000. Mobile homes pay an assessment to the town, and that's what that's that line item. Penalties and interest on taxes and excise, anyone that's late paying. Payment in lieu of taxes, that's money that we receive from MFN, for example. They have the sewage treatment plant in Norton, and some properties that Wheaton has. So most of the items stay pretty similar to last year. Unfortunately, the cemetery seems to have gone up, so we have increased that. Other departmental revenue, that is what we down here. This is really Medicaid reimbursements that the schools receive for students that receive services. And it had gone down, because of COVID, but this year it started going back up again. So that's why we're confident at the 150. Licenses and permits. The main thing in there is building permits, and all depends what happens with building projects, whether they move forward or not. So we're looking at 600,000 there. And one other item that changed, this miscellaneous recurring. So this 40,000 is an assessment or a payment we receive for digital sign out on Route 495. And I skipped above investment income. Right now they're talking about interest rates going up, but where they are right now and what we've taken in the first 6 months of this year in interest, 35,000 seems more realistic. So the total right now we're looking at is 4,162,000. Last year our estimates were 4,088,513, and we're still waiting for the water and sewer numbers on what their estimated receipts are.
Madam Chair?
Is that you, Steve?
Yep, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. A couple of things. Is that sign on 495, is that payment projecting based on the presentation we were given, I thought that revenue was a little higher. When he came before the town a couple of years ago, for some reason I had 100,000 a year in my head.
If this is for one sign, 40,000 a year, it was 30,000 a year for one sign, and if they did a second sign, this is the other 40,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second thing, right now, any challenges that we're running into with our current projections that we may have to adjust any of these numbers?
For this current year, no, we're pretty close. It should all balance out. Hopefully we're higher. We bring in more than anticipated. That's how we build our free cash. And the investment income, that could be an issue. But some of the other line items, like cemetery, as an example, some of those will come in to offset the reduction in the investment income.
All right. Any conversation about medical? I keep hearing from the flip side, they gave us a holiday last year, but it looks like they're potentially assessing a little bit higher this coming renewal.
Actually, we did well. Our increase is going to be 1%.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that was good.
And so we're not, and then the other thing, we're not expecting too much building coming through. I mean, I know we have to be conservative, but at 600,000, nothing in Blue Star is coming, or we already tapped that.
Well, I don't know when the permits are going to be pulled. It's something that we could obviously adjust things in the fall if we have to. The next building would be for Yale Appliance. And I know I would anticipate that that's going to be pulled in this current fiscal year. One of the neighbors has appealed the decision the planning board made on that. So waiting to see how long that takes. So if that got held up, it would be in the next fiscal year, but I think it'll be in this fiscal year.
Okay.
And the other one we don't know either is the apartments on Mansfield Ave. There's a 101 unit apartment building going in. And I don't know whether they're going to pull the permit this year or next year. They have all their approvals. It's just a matter of when they're going to get the financing and move forward. And it is a 40B, and that's the one that put us over. We're now over at 10%.
Okay. And how many of those are dormant now that could come back to, we're over the percent today, but we still, if there's approvals, they can come back, right?
Yeah. One of the most frustrating things in the world. Yes. If projects are approved, they count towards our 10%, but if they go longer than 2 years, the state keeps giving them extensions, but then some of them they stop counting them towards that 10%. But another one that may be moving forward is Island Brook. I don't know if you know where that one is. That's on East Main, down by the bridge. So if you're heading from the town hall back to 495, when you come to the bridge, on the left-hand side as you're heading to a 495, the vacant land there. That's single-family homes, but it's a 40B. I'll bring the list at the next meeting and let you know what projects are on there that haven't been built.
And any potential large delinquencies in our tax books?
Not that I know of. They do a pretty good job. They're usually up around 99% in collections. So nothing that I know of off the top of my head.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Zach.
Mike, what makes you think you're not going to get a health insurance holiday? Did they tell you that in advance, or because my wife teaches for another municipality, and it's been 4 years in a row that we've gotten December off, as from Blue Cross.
Yeah. No, I have a meeting next week. I can ask them if they envision any holiday this year.
Because we may get lucky on that. I don't know.
Okay. Anything else on that? And then this is obviously in the works here. So just to show you how we then build the budget. So we have our base tax levy, which goes up by the 2.5% each year. The next number, this is an increment. This is the part of this is what, our increase is. So the 2.5%. And then our new growth right now estimated at 500,000, the 2.5 debt exclusion, and that number, this number and the increment are still being worked on. The debt exclusion obviously hinges on how much is borrowed for the projects. Then we put in our local aid, our local receipts. This is using 600,000 from free cash. The next line, the Hicks Fund, this is anticipating 200,000 again from the Hicks Fund. We haven't received confirmation on that yet. We usually, year after year, we're getting about 100,000. Last year they increased it to 200,000. The ambulance receipts, 700,000, 10,000 from the dog fund. This line item here, septic betterments, that'll probably be going away pretty soon. This is down at Winnicott. When they put that sewer in, it was funded by taxpayers at the time, and every year we receive betterment payments back from them. I think there's only a couple years left on the payments on that. 3,000 we take from the Wetlands Protection Fund, so more or less that goes towards the salaries in the Conservation Office. This number has to be determined too. This is any premiums we receive on monies borrowed for the debt exclusion. And the water and sewer reimbursements right now in the budget is just what the number was last year. But these numbers are all based on what percent the water budget is or the sewer budget is of the town budget. So once we finalize all the town budgets, that number will be adjusted. And then the expenditures. So overlay surplus, that's money that the assessors hold in case there's any cases that people appeal their taxes and the assessors has to pay back. Then the offsets to the library that we talked about earlier, that 32,466 goes directly to them. The school choice receiving tuition, that 1,179,13 goes directly to the schools. And then our county and state assessments and the transportation authorities that we saw on the cherry sheet. And then the charter school tuitions and the school choice tuitions that were on the cherry sheet. And the fixed and shared expenses, that still has to be worked on. The fixed and shared expenses are the insurances and fuel. So we'll be working on that. And then what you had asked, Zach, the tuitions that we pay for Southeastern Regional, the assessment, and Bristol County. And then the next item, obviously, is what we'll budget for schools and the general government. Any questions on that? So I don't know, did you receive the audit? I'll send that to you. The auditors were at the last select board meeting and reviewed the audit with us. They didn't find any issues. They felt everything was being done well. I also get email to the auditors the financial policy we were working on, so they could take a look at that and come back with any suggestions. Any questions?
So your overall feelings on this year? We're going to be in good shape. We're going to have to make some tough choices.
I think we'll have to make some tough choices, as we always do. But we always seem to get by, and I'm sure we'll do it again.
Mike, with that said, just curious, what are the charge to the departments as far as the overall budget and their presentations?
So the departments were all told to do level services unless there was some reason they needed something else added, that they could come meet with me and we'd talk about it. And before we include any additions. But right now, everyone was told to do level services.
Any projection on salaries?
Salaries, our contracts are all set. I will say, speaking of salaries, which is going to become a big issue in the future, but our contracts are all set through June of 2023, and it's 2%. For a lot of the contracts, and department heads can get 2 and up to 3% more for evaluation and performance. But as we're trying to hire new people, I was just reading an article before the meeting that Target is going to start offering employees $24 an hour. And, this is what we're going to get hit with. It's going to first be, I'm sure, this summer when we're hiring lifeguards. We're not going to get anyone to be a lifeguard for under $15 an hour. And you're going to start seeing that in when you're trying to fill positions. People are, well, I'm not going to come in on that first step you have. There's no way I can go down the street and make more money. So that wage inflation is going to be a big concern.
Mike, with that said, that was kind of my next one. Is I think we set aside something to the neighborhood of $40,000 or $50,000 last year for salary surveys.
Right. That hasn't been done yet, but we'll be doing that this year. Yep.
It has not. I know we're going through the same thing, in the private world, as we go with these kind of target quotes and mandates. What's that do to your salary structure?
Right, because that's a big concern. Like, so I know, like my son, when he worked at one of the drugstores, and the state started raising the minimum wage 50 cents an hour every year. So all the lower people would get 50 cents an hour or more every year, or 75 cents. But all the managers, theirs wasn't going up at all. So that you can't really do that. If you have wage inflation at the bottom, it's going to start wage inflation at the top too. So right. It's a concern.
And when that survey is done, will they compare all the town salaries, meaning a school equivalent position should be the same as a town equivalent position, or?
No, what we'd do is it would just be comparing our salaries in Norton to similar towns. Just the town side of government, not the school side.
Just so you may still have some variances, say, for some of these not shared positions, but similar positions, your benefits or your payroll or.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, we just had a payroll person start today, and that position was open since December.
Welcome, new payroll person. You don't have to worry about any of us.
Zeros add up easily.
We do. So many zeros. Just can't even keep track. Anything else, Mike? That was the last
Nope,
part.
that's it.
Okay.
Any questions afterwards, just send me an email.
Yeah, or now, if anybody wanted to follow up. I was just gonna point to the schedule that Mike did send us, and he did review, or he started to review, where he's talking about who we're seeing next week and then in the weeks coming. Obviously, we set aside Mondays at 7 for this meeting. You can just count on that. I know when it gets towards the end of the process, sometimes we throw in a Wednesday or two. It looks like we're not scheduled to have anyone visit on April 4th, but I'm assuming we should keep that one clear for a meeting as well in case anything carries over, a department can't make it or something to be discussed on any of the other dates. So that's what the schedule looks like. And then town meeting is scheduled for June 7th. Is that right?
It is. Yep.
Okay, I want to say.
It's, I don't remember. Is it a Monday or a Wednesday?
It is a Monday, but I thought it was a Tuesday.
And the warrant closes March 7th. And probably not at this week's select board meeting, but 2 weeks we'll be opening the special town meeting warrant.
June 7th is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So the warrant closes the 7th and the special opens when?
The 16th, probably.
Okay.
Is that a Wednesday?
I'm really quizzing me. I knew that June 7th was a Tuesday. March 16th is a Wednesday, yes. Okay. So I don't think we have, I know we have minutes that need review, but I don't think we have any tonight because we weren't sent any. I think that's something that Amy was planning to sort out when she returned. Mike, I don't know if you know anything about that.
I don't.
Okay. Do we have any other business to discuss? Committee members. Just also excited to be back. I can really tell. Budget season is like.
So if you're new member, do you just have one new member?
We do. He's not here, but we do.
Yeah. I mean, if he has any questions on any of that information, just tell him to reach out.
Sure. Hopefully he can catch this when he has a spare 45 minutes. So if there's no other business, the acting chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thanks, Joe.
Second.
Thanks, Zach. Paula?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Elena?
Yes.
Joe?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
And I too am a yes. 7:44. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night. See you next week.
Right, safe.